In 1886, a French immigrant started his own canned pasta company called Franco-American. This man's name was Alphonse Bardot. There is no existing photograph of him, nor a description of what he looked like. So, artist rendering of Franco-American. There he is. Oh, how you say, canned pasta. We're going to be digging deep into the history of his company. We're going to be looking at some vintage advertisements. We're going to learn all about the history of SpaghettiOs. That's what I'm excited to get to. But oddly, SpaghettiOs came after the company had already been purchased by Campbell's. We'll get to the whole Campbell's thing. We'll talk about some really weird pastas they made. Boy, Life with Louis pasta's on the way. Let's start out in the very old days. Here's his name there, Alphonse Bardot. Alphonse Bardot, prepared under the supervision. This is great. So this was a big thing, all right? So this is their seal on their soups. Back then, French food was very much associated with high class. Like everybody thought of anything that had a sauce was a French sauce. You know, French soups were very important, and this was a way that people could bring this to their home. But this was not thought of as being a low class thing. Campbell's was the same thing. Campbell's took one of the best chefs in France, and they hired him and they put him in their advertisement. So this was the same kind of thing. This guy was one heck of a chef, and that's why people trusted him to prepare foods that would be put in a can and sent to their home. Right around this time, Campbell's had started the canning process. They were really, I mean, it was an invention that had been perfected by Campbell's. And this guy was another big name, and he was the guy doing pasta. And so in 1914, the Campbell's Soup Company purchased Franco-American, but they kept the name Franco-American until relatively recently. So we'll get to that. That's just less than 20 years ago they stopped using the Franco-American name for the most part, and we'll dig into a little bit of that. It's not that deep, but hey, if it keeps you tuned, I'm up for it. All right, let's see what we got here. Here's one of their old ads for mock turtle soup. It says sample can of soup. It's 14 cents. So, you know, I mean, canned foods are cheap. Today, you're going to pay more than 14 cents for a can of soup. But, I mean, we're talking like 100 years ago. Honesty is not something to be boasted of in the matter of soup. It's a thing to be tasted. See if you can taste in the next can of soup the honesty of materials and methods. So they're saying you open it not with an honesty of material and methods, but they made it with an honesty of material and methods. So when you open it, you will taste that. Their factory is always open to visitors, except for Saturdays, all right? Don't come by on Saturday. It's always open, except for Saturdays, all right? Saturdays, he sits around Franco-Americans in his pajamas. He's going, oh, nobody come by. I'm drinking my wine. So there they were. They were on Franklin Street and West Broadway in New York City. The Franco-American Food Company. This was a big deal. Here's another ad here. Let's take a look at this. This is French soup and chicken pate. Again, very French. And so this is. I like this ad. I like the kids. I like this kid. This kid's up to no good. Oh my God, he's got his weapon. He's like, I got my weapon sheathed. I'm ready to go in. Do I take out these two? No, and Alphonse is like, no, do not take them out yet. We are working towards something. Let's see what. Two good things to eat. So now we've got looks like consomme and royal plum pudding. Ooh. It says a hint for Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner, then heck, every other dinner, except for Saturday. No Saturday dinner, all right? 20 different varieties, all prepared by the Franco-American Food Company of West Broadway and Franklin. Here we go. French soups. Let's see what they say here. The average cook sets little store-by soup. All right, I'm somehow missing this. The average cook sets little store-by soup. That's a sentence. Am I missing something here? Sets little store by soup. Okay. If the family insists upon, occasionally they make it under the verbal and dumb protest. So I guess what they're saying is that the average cook doesn't want to make soup. And here's this weird little naked boy just like holding a towel over his wang while he prepares you a plate of mock turtle soup. All right, I don't know. Things got weird. I don't know what happened. All right, let's move on. We've got this little boy. They've got their ready-made soups. Now let's see. This is a different brand under their brand. So under Franco-American, they had this different one. I don't know if this would be before or after the Campbell's Company. I'm thinking this was after, and ready-made probably went away. But the Soup Deluxe, the Franco-American, they kept, although Franco-American, Campbell's, turned them into the pasta wing of their company. And then eventually Campbell's was like, what the heck? We can do everything. We're Campbell's, for goodness sakes. All right, now they got mushrooms. Let's say, try this Italian style sauce for your next spaghetti meal. Look at that. There you go. Some spaghetti sauce, Franco-American. We're getting closer to the SpaghettiOs days. Look at this. What could be more Italian than this spaghetti sauce with meat? Maybe your hunk of cheese that looks like a deflated basketball? I don't know. Spaghetti sauce with meat in a can. Doesn't that look delicious? Stay to supper. Was there some, were they using, it's like the version of Google Translate was they'd be like, all right, we want to put stay for supper on there. And Alphonse would be like, okay, the bad pronunciation is and translated to English, that's stay to supper. And they're like, all right, I guess that'll make us seem more French. I don't know. This was their canned macaroni. I like that. All right. What's next? What's next on their list? Look at this little chicken. What is going on? What is that? It's a little chicken that you put hot dogs and olives into on toothpicks. It's like a voodoo doll of a chicken. I don't know what's going on. We doubled up on the spoons in our weird macaroni pie here. The cheese is our secret, and the compliments are yours. Yes, that's right. All your friends and family will be like, I don't know how you did this. And you're like, I sacrificed the chicken. They're like, all right, yeah, I figured that was coming. But the compliments are yours. You get to keep them. Ooh, look at it just pouring down there. Oh, man. You get slow-cooked Italian flavor in this spaghetti sauce with meat. So again, here it was, a Frenchman came to the United States and took over the world of Italian food for Americans. Americans got their Italian food from Franco-American. Look at this lady. She's got her pearls on, sitting there with the wallpaper behind her, and like a curio cabinet next to her with a souvenir plate that she picked up somewhere. Everyone enjoys it. Even the cook. Look at her. When it's piping hot, you can get it in no time at all. She's like, I'm not telling anyone it was in a can. They'll never know. Good for you. Oh man, now we've got like a mascot, it looks like. New Italian style spaghetti with 6 meatballs. That's way more than 5. And look at this little guy just sailing his way through a bowl of spaghetti with 6 meatballs. Now we got this like Admiral character, kind of brings me back to the French part of it. But they are speaking Italian here. Bravo, spicy Italian style. Sauce glorifies our new thin strand spaghetti. Yeah, they were really pushing that they had thin strand spaghetti in some of these ads. You'll see. But that was a selling point here. Look at this. They say here, how do Italians make spaghetti sauce with meat like this? That's how they make it. They make it like that. And they use that thin strand spaghetti. What's going on here? She says, I'm saving money on food bills. Every week we have the most delicious meals ever. Read what a thrifty mother says. This girl's like, God, mom is so cheap. Could you imagine what it'd be like to have a non-cheap mom? This kid doesn't know any better. But mom here, speaking in the words of the thought bubble, like she's Charlie Brown's mom. Although then it'd be like, wah, 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 wah. All right, let's see what's next. More ugly food. Let's see what this is. Did you know they also make macaroni with a lovely cheese? I did not. I was unaware. I'm certainly glad Mrs. Smith told me to buy Franco-American. Have that good kind of spaghetti for lunch, will you, Mom? And the kid's running off to play. He's going to come home, and Mom will just pop that can open. She'll just, get that old-timey can opener thing and crank it until it opens. Throw that in a bowl. She'll have to heat it up on the stove. No microwave back then. All right. Let's see here. And never think of cooking spaghetti in your own kitchen. Yes, this was not like a sometime snack. This was you don't need to cook spaghetti ever again. You're done with that. You've moved on. The can is here to save you. All right, some other products they made from Franco-American. Beef gravy was a big deal. You could get this on your hot meat sandwiches, put some beef gravy. The Franco-American name today is still used for beef gravy, but it is not used for anything else. Whoa, look at these boys. What happened? Did they fight over this? This kid's missing a tooth. One kid's got a black eye. The two on the end won, though. They won the fight. All their neckties, look, you can see necktie. No necktie. This kid was really rolled around. This kid too. So the necktie kid, this kid took his necktie off and choked out this kid, and then the other kid was just rolling around and they were yanking his necktie away. Oh, only one potful for the four of us. Yes, indeed. Oh, but here's the girls. Here's the Wendy's girls. There they are, stirring it. It's the recipe for rosy cheeks. They're going to be happy with that spaghetti. Oh, man, look at these helpless males. Helpless males, huh? No way. He's like, yeah, it's pretty good, right? I opened a can, and then I poured the milk, because nothing goes better with SpaghettiOs than milk. All right, let's see. What do we got here? We got a little French guy, la sauce, c'est out. It's a zesty new ground beef sauce. Look at this. From Franco-American, a hearty spaghetti with beef in every bite. Okay. So now we're getting into the real deal. So this is like 1950s when SpaghettiOs is introduced. This has long since been the Campbell's Soup Company owning Franco-American. Alphonse Biardot is long since passed away. He lived a nice long life, but he's gone. And the Franco-American company is part of Campbell's, but Campbell's smartly at the time choosing to have two different companies, one that people associate with fine canned pastas and the other one with fine canned soups. So Franco-American now releasing brand new SpaghettiOs. And look, right off the bat, I mean, this is almost the can we have today. You know, although I went to the store and I looked at it, it's got like Mario Brothers on it right now, but they do, this smile face has been on there, and the way SpaghettiOs is written is about the same today as it was then, which I think is just great. Here's an ad for SpaghettiOs. The big selling point is that you got spaghetti that you could eat with a spoon. Rollicking little circles of spaghetti, 4 sizes. I never noticed that. Makes sense though if you think about it. Yeah, there's 4 sizes in there. Little bit bigger than little. There's all different sizes. The neat new spaghetti you can eat with a spoon, save 7 cents. What is the can saying to us? He's saying it's the nastiest invention since the napkin. It's the tastiest invention since the napkin. It's the neatest invention. It's the neatest invention since the napkin. All right, what else we got here? We got 18 little meatballs. So this is when they added the meatballs, and they added, we added 18 of them. That's not enough. That's too many. I don't know what it is. Then they added hot dogs. And look at the hot dog nose. He's got quite a hot dog nose. Hot dog, the greatest invention since the napkin. They were really pushing that this was the best invention since the napkin. The all-new spaghetti that you can eat with a spoon. They still make it with the sliced Franks. I always liked that. When I was a kid, that was like the special one. You're like, ooh, the Franks. Because usually SpaghettiOs are cheaper without the meatballs. And so that's what we usually got at my house. And it was like, you know, anytime you got the Franks, I think were the next price point, and then it was the meatballs. So we only got the Franks, I believe. But and it was once in a while. We only really got the plain. And so when you got those Franks, you're like, ooh, you'd hoard them too. Like you'd be scooping that out for your bowl. You'd be like, oh, how do I get every one in there? I think at one point my mother realized that it was cheaper to buy a hot dog and slice it up and put it into the SpaghettiOs, but it didn't taste the same. You need those canned hot dogs. So this was when they branched off and did macaroni-os. Not easy to search for, by the way, because it keeps going, no, you didn't mean that. That's not what you meant. There's no such thing. But there you go. Look, they've sliced that macaroni into noodles. So I don't know how this tasted any different than the regular one, but they said it did. Hey, Garfield, he also believes it's the greatest invention since the nap. See, not the napkin, the nap. Because Garfield likes napkins. No, he doesn't like. Oh, remember all those strips where he was like, hey, John, let's have a lasagna, but first the napkin. Beef, ravioli, and a meat sauce, the Garfield spaghetti. They did some other variations. Look at this. Spaghetti, where's Waldo? You tried to find Waldo in your spaghetti. He's like, try to find me. Why is Waldo on the run? What crime did he commit? I want to know. Okay. So this guy, this is their mascot. They've had a couple mascots. We're actually going to go through, I think there's two maybe that we're going to talk about. But this one, this guy, they use a lot in their advertisement. And this particular image, they posted on social media on December the 7th, a couple years back. And they said, hey, let's all remember Pearl Harbor together. And people are like, geez, if you want to trivialize something, put your little spaghetti man. Campbell's apologized, and they haven't done a patriotic tweet since. So you ruined Campbell's Twitter feed, people. This guy, this is the other mascot. He was a puppet. Here he is with the professor who, I like the professor puppet who always wears his cap and gown. He's like really overcompensating for the fact that he didn't graduate. But this little guy with the red around his, so I like nothing about this makes sense. Like the spaghetti sauce, I guess, is supposed to be this red that's like both hair and a beard, or I don't know if it's a scarf. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's got a head wrap. But this guy, and then he's like, looks like he's solid, unless I guess he opens his mouth. Then I guess he looks a little bit like a SpaghettiO, but this guy was in commercials for a while. Not a fan. Encounter UFOs at lunch. Look, it's Franco-American UFO pasta. And then here's that Garfield we talked about. Look at Garfield. Garfield's got, I thought, okay, so I thought for a moment that this was like a symbol for like a compass. I thought like he had a compass on his pizza, in his Pizza-Os. SpaghettiOs, Pizza-Os, these apparently still exist. I've never seen these though, but you can see now Campbell's is at the top, no longer Franco-American. This is your beefy taco flavor. I don't know what that's all about. Life with Louis pasta. Man, let's learn about loads of fun. Louis the one. All right, so we've got some instructions here for Life with Louis. First, you flip your Louis pasta shapes off your spoon so it looks like he's doing a cannonball into your bowl. Louis Anderson, I'm doing a cannonball. All right, go fishing. Eat your pasta with a fork. The whole deal was to eat it with a spoon. I guess if you're roughing it, you use a fork. See how many fish shapes you can hook at once. Number 3, race bike shapes down your spoon and see which one can get to the bowl first. All right, I think now we're really starting to stretch the adventure we can have with our Life with Louis. Let's see, number 4, take a family photo. Get Louis, mom, and dad all on the same spoon, family photo, and then eat them. Oh, no. Oh, no, Mom, we're going to eat Life with Louis pasta. All right, then number 5, screw the SpaghettiOs. Go get some ice cream. Okay. And then invent your own wacky ways to eat it. Well, I think by this point you've played with your food enough. You've had enough Life with Louis pasta. All right, here's the cheeseburger O's. These look fake. I've never seen this in a store. I did not know this existed. Chicken meatballs. I do see this a lot. And again, look, I mean, the concept of the face there is very similar. The way that it says SpaghettiOs, like the logo, everything very much reminds me of like this can hasn't changed that much. Only big change up top here, saying Campbell's instead of Franco-American. This one, my goodness, I would try this. Put some spicy Red Hot in there. And then this is the logo today. So starting in 2004, they took the logo off the top of the front, put it on the back, very small. Franco-American is now only used for like a canned gravy, I believe, and a couple other cans at some select grocery areas. So some areas the Franco-American name is still used, but never for pasta, which was the big thing that they labeled it as under the Campbell's name. So it's mostly retired since 2004, and so the only way you're going to see it, not at the top, you're going to see it on the back, but right now on the top of me is a box, and you can click that one, or you can click the one over here. You can click either one, find out more about something. I don't really care because I'm in both. But I hope you click it, and I'll see you next time.